Johnny Talks Sports, another episode of Johnny Talks Football. Today I'm going to make my prediction for the national championship game between Clemson and Alabama. Now, before I get to that, I want to compare the two teams' schedules from this season, just to show that one side is clearly better than the others. Let's start with Clemson's, because this is kind of interesting in a way. They started off with a 41-10 victory over Wofford, and then the following week a 41-10 victory over Appalachian State. But then in their third game against Louisville, I think this was a Thursday night game, they only won 20-17. Then at the time, number 6 Notre Dame, 24-22. Notre Dame had the chances to win that game. Notre Dame turned the ball over 4 times in the second half. Against a Georgia Tech team who struggled all season long, a 43-24 victory. Against Boston College, 34-17 victory. At Miami, Florida, 58-0, which led to the Al Golden firing. At North Carolina State, 56-41. However, North Carolina State was in most of that game. Clemson didn't really have it wrapped until about the fourth quarter. At the time, number 16 Florida State, a 23-13 victory. However, that offense couldn't really get the ball moving in the first half. It started off with a Dalvin Cook touchdown in the first minute of that game. At Syracuse, 37-27. Syracuse is kind of an underrated team to me because they compete against LSU pretty tough. And they kind of let Syracuse back into that game here. At Wake, it was at Wake Forest. Excuse me, that was a home game. 33-13. At South Carolina, a 37-32 win. However, they allowed a South Carolina touchdown in the last couple seconds. Then in the ACC championship game, at the time, number 10 North Carolina, 45-37. And that was when those ACC refs made headlines again by screwing North Carolina over, as what many people think. And of course, in the Orange Bowl, a 37-17 victory against Oklahoma. Now let's look at Alabama's. At the time, number 20 Wisconsin, a 35-17 victory. That was at AT&T Stadium. Middle Tennessee State, a 37-10 victory. Number 15 at the time, Ole Miss. This was a home game for Alabama, a 43-37 loss. Jake Coker didn't start that game. It was Cooper Bateman that started that game. And plus, Alabama had 5 turnovers in that game. They had problems being able to stop Chad Kelly in that game. And that is what led to the loss. Louisiana Monroe, 38-0. At the time, number 8, this was at Georgia, a 38-10 victory. Now this was a home game for Alabama. It was Arkansas, a 27-14 victory. I knew that game was going to be close. Alabama just had their way with it in the second half. At the time, number 9 Texas A&M at College Station, a 41-23 victory, which weeks ago I had it being a 41-20 game. So one of those Taylor Burnett field goals that they would have missed, I would have had the exact score right. Tennessee, only a 19-14 victory. They had their problems stopping Josh Dobbs as a quarterback. In fact, Tennessee, I believe they missed 4 field goals in that game. Just to think, if Tennessee made all 4 of those field goals, Tennessee would have beat Alabama. At the time, number 2 LSU, 30-16. Then, at the time, number 17 Mississippi State, 31-6. Then some FCS team, 56-6. And then at Auburn, 20-13. However, Auburn was in most of that game. Then Derrick Henry took over with 48 carries in that one. I believe, not 48, it was... Yeah, I think I'm right. I mean, Alabama fans, if I'm wrong, comment below. SEC championship game against Florida, 29-15. And then, of course, their 38-0 shutout against Michigan State. Now, clearly, according to those schedules, Alabama has played the tougher schedule than Clemson has. The SEC is a competitive conference. The ACC, it's not really competitive when it comes down to football. It's pretty much Florida State, Clemson, and everybody else. So the way I see this, I think it's very right to say Alabama should be the favorite in this one. In fact, Alabama is, I think, right now a 7.5 to 8 point favorite in this one. Which I'm surprised it's not even more. Because if you remember, 3 years ago when they played Notre Dame for the national championship, Alabama was the number 2 team, but a 9 point favorite. They ended up smashing Notre Dame in that one. Now here are the keys to the game. For Clemson, you have to do two things. You got to rattle Jay Coker, and you got to contain Derrick Henry. For Alabama, you just got to hand the football off to Derrick Henry enough times, and you got to look for Calvin Ridley and Richard Mullaney, who Richard Mullaney is a transfer from Oregon State, and the head coach for Oregon State was Nebraska fans at the time Richard Mullaney was there, Mike Riley. Now, the way I see this game shaping out, this could go either one of two ways. This could be a defensive battle, and it's a low-scoring game, or Alabama runs away with it. I think we might see a combination of both in this one. I just think that both teams might start off a little bit slow, a little bit of a defensive heavy in this one. Then I think in the second half, Alabama just becomes Alabama. I like Alabama to win this one 34 to 23. Although there was a simulation that I saw of this game. It was from Stillwater Sports Cards. You should subscribe to that guy because he's awesome. It's a very interesting simulation. I'll put the link in the description box below. So that is my national championship prediction. I like Alabama to win 34 to 23. Feel free to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And have a great day, everybody. I will see you next time.